Welcome to the Law Dad Podcast, brought to you by Pritchard Injury Firm. I'm Zach Pritchard, lawyer, husband, and very tired father.
Dive into the heart of law and life with The Law Dad, Zach Pritchard, your guide through the world of injury law in North Georgia and Tennessee, where law, life, and leadership meet.
Today on the Law Dad Podcast, so many thoughts of how to introduce this person. Incredible, spectacular, vile, strike that, amazing, the one and only Alexis Pritchard.
Sackmar Pritchard.
Sorry, Sackmar Pritchard. Yeah, it's probably better.
So good to be here, Zach. Thanks for having me on today.
Thanks for making some time, Alexis. Give us some background of how you got here. And be kind.
I'm an educator at heart. I actually just left
Why is that? Why
a
would you say
meeting
that?
at the central office, and it warmed my heart to be there. So born and raised in Cartersville. Mother, lifelong educator, and still to this day, I can say my maiden name, Sackmar, and people go crazy because they had my mom, renewed my mom. Dad worked at Anheuser-Busch for the majority of later in life. So good old Cartersvillians. And then I just followed in her footsteps as a school counselor. Love it, miss it. Then I came to work for you. And I love that. Work with you. With you. With you.
With? For? I mean.
Very different.
Oh, they are. Oh, okay.
With.
Okay. Hey, whatever you say. Here's a question. You became a counselor. I've never asked you this. You became a counselor, but your mom was head of the English department. I mean, she was a teacher. Why? And granted, because a lot of people will say, Alexis is a teacher or whatever else, or we'll just kind of throw that in there. But I mean, very different roles that I learned. The counsel. I don't even think I knew what a counselor did, to be honest with you.
Most people don't.
I mean, Miss Neal kept me in line and got me off to college, and that's about it.
So much more.
But I didn't go by. I hate that because it sounds like there's a lot of resources, and I didn't really tap into them.
Honestly, I remember being like an only child, and my mom would come home from work, and then she spent her entire evening grading papers. I was not about that. Now, I worked after hours in very different ways, but that wasn't all the time. I saw my mom tethered to grading papers, and I was like, I'm not going to miss my kids' lives. And that morale, oh God, it just makes me shudder. I feel for teachers these days. And now on like a whole other level, I feel for teachers and
now it's
all that they
regulated
have to
heavily,
do.
right?
I mean, ish.
So did she just give too many quizzes? Is that what happened?
No, I think she gave too many shits about their education.
Oh.
Like she just
cared too much.
It was a lot of writing. She was the English teacher, so I also think that's different. It's not like
true,
a math test maybe where you're just looking at like the number, the final answer, which I guess you're still grading like their work, so you're having to look at that. I don't know. That's a good point. Wasn't like multiple choice. There was a lot of essay writing and that
critical
kind of
thinking.
I think now there are apps maybe that you can like run papers through to like help grade them. But I mean, she was old red pen and paper.
Yeah, that's a good point too, because if she was in something that had like a Scantron, right?
Yeah,
like
and those are easy peasy. Yeah.
Huh.
But no, I wanted to do more of helping kids. It's funny because we just talked about that this morning at the board office, social emotional learning. I was much more concerned with how kids functioned than with what they learned academically, which I'm glad there are people there focusing on the academic side. But I wanted to make sure that kids had a plan for after high school and they could get through high school and could cope well with life strategies and skills and hurdles and obstacles and all that kind of stuff is just what spoke to me more.
So why not go into like clinical work? Why not be a licensed counselor?
Well, because those people have to come to you, which is great. But like I went to the kids a lot of students.
You went to them. I love it.
That's funny. But a lot of students don't necessarily want to come see their school counselor. Some do and rely on it and love it, I think, when they do. But a lot of kids don't. There's a stigma behind counseling.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, the school counselor's here to see you. Like, what's wrong?
I think that's what I said earlier. What I did was I just tried to stay out of there.
Right.
I mean, I didn't know that there was
There's
all this other.
There's a lot of great resources.
That's right.
Your
I didn't know
school
that.
counselor has a lot of great resources. Academic help and, help for how to fill out, sign up for the SATs and ACTs and college applications and, help with studying and how do I train to be a better student and how do I deal with what's going on at my home life and my social life and my girlfriend and my boyfriend and my friends and oh my God, your school counselor is a wealth of resources.
It sounds like a lot of issues that you guys handled. Why'd you get out of it? If you loved it so much, why'd you get out of it?
Because I had this guy working his ass off and he needed help too. No, it's neat to do a different side. So very gray. Like life as a school counselor, you live in the gray. There's no 2 days are ever the same. Feelings and emotions. And this was just there's more black and white. We were dealing with marketing and data and numbers and now the financials and it's a lot of black and white. There's still a heck of a lot of gray that gets on my nerves.
You're always on me in these things about being real, so I'm going to get real. I'm glad you're gone. I don't miss you being a counselor. She gets to go
At least
pick
we're
up
cutting
my
that part.
Yeah. No, we're not cutting this out. They need to know that. Okay? Here's the deal. You want to get real? You kept saying, Zach, you got to be real. You got to be listen, because this is stuff I say to you in the car, right? And what I say to you is I'm like, you know what? You get time with our kids. You get to, as stressful as it is, you get to run around the soccer fields. You get to be dynamic and take care of sometimes 20 children here. So you're still getting fulfilled, but I don't miss it at all. You're home. If we need you home before 2, 3, 4 o'clock, whatever, you're there. You're present. That is so priceless. I used to get so sideways because I'd be like, everybody from the school is gone, and it's 5:30, 6 o'clock. What are you doing? You were passionate.
I was.
It's also why we still walk around town and these kids freaking adore you. Okay. But there comes a point where I'm really glad that our kids adore you and you're home and mom's not going to pull her hair out. So for what it's worth, I don't miss it a bit. I'm glad to go to Friday football games. I know you do. I know, but I don't. I do. Okay. Anyway, there. That's my 2 cents on it. Well, this is a cool counselor, and it was just so great. Nope. Guess what? She gets to be wife and mommy more than anything else now, and I love it.
And I appreciate that. And so the word I think is probably better to choose is flexibility.
Oh, sure.
I am glad that I have flexibility now.
That is a great word.
I think we often joke about my last little stint when I was at the high school, like I couldn't leave for lunch. And teachers can't leave for lunch.
I know.
Now, you can DoorDash things in now. We couldn't even do that when I was there.
That's crazy.
But so flexibility is nice.
Yes.
Flexibility is nice. But a calling is a calling. Like I loved my students. The other stuff that started to come with it, not so much. But I love the kids. But I also love helping you to run a business in town. That's a very different world, and it's fun.
Yes.
And it sparks a different side of my brain. So that's good.
I think a lot of educators too are fueled by passion, which I have so much respect and a heart for.
You have to. That's the only thing that'll get you through.
I know. And I think that's what makes me sad. And that's why I go back to my comments just a second ago, because there's so many good educators out there. And because of some of these rules and things, and I get it, you got to have structure. I get it. Yeah. Okay. So I'm not saying that, but I'm just glad for us personally that you're able to have that flexibility now. I really am. As much as it comes with a completely different set of stress.
There is no other profession in the world like education.
Yeah.
And granted,
it's selfless people. And
I'm not in like nursing, so that probably is a close scenario second maybe, but like hug a teacher today.
No doubt.
Teachers
are phenomenal.
Undervalued, underpaid, underloved, and they should be like running the world.
Yeah, absolutely right. I think that's a problem with what we're seeing in society. I mean, not to get off on a side tangent, but that's the big deal, is that we're seeing an erosion of the respect, care, concern for our teachers.
Yeah.
Parents are becoming worse. I mean, from what I see.
Back in the day, like, granted, I was the child of an educator.
Sure.
But there was, like, when I came home and there was a problem, it was never, what did that teacher do?
Yeah.
It was immediately,
what did you do
wrong?
Yeah.
Like, every time. And I kind of am here for that. A little bit.
The problem,
like, I'm going to trust that my school system is going to employ fair, educated individuals.
Right.
Nice, kind-ish individuals. So there should be like a standard of hiring in Cartersville City Schools, right?
Across
so
the board,
then,
not just here.
if my child comes home with a problem, all right, well, let's talk about how you can how you can control your actions in that scenario. Mm-hmm. Because maybe that teacher was having like an off moment or a bad day.
Sure.
Or maybe you just totally misperceived the scenario. Granted, I am not saying that in all scenarios that's that way. But like 9 times out of 10, I want to default to the teacher because I want them to know that we support them. My kid knows that our kids know that we support them, that we love them and whatever.
Absolutely.
But I also want that teacher to know that, like, I'm going to yank a knot in her chain if I need to.
Yeah. So I think,
Right?
Our approach, if I was correct in saying this, let me know. But our approach is to always establish authority and respect for the teacher. You are to respect your teacher. I better not hear anything.
Period.
And if there is something happen, because you're exactly right, everybody's going to make a mistake, that we approach that professionally with the teacher in private or handling it between the 3 of us or 4 of us if it needs to be, whatever, so where our kids also don't see that. Because I think that's
it's
the
us
problem
like knocking
too.
her knees out from underneath her. We don't need to like come at the teacher.
Yeah, you don't do that in front of kids.
Yeah.
Because that undermines them.
The same way that you don't do that to each other.
That's right. I don't know what that means, but okay.
All right, guys, time for bed. Oh, let's play for like 5 more minutes. Yeah. Nobody just heard Mom say go to bed.
No, you do that. You do play for 5 more minutes, right? Is that what you're saying? That's my playbook.
I know, it's the wrong playbook.
Yeah, but you got to get in those last 5 to 10 right before bed because otherwise they're going to just go to sleep. And you didn't get your 5 to 10 with them.
You need to get your 5 to 10 earlier than 9 o'clock at night.
I guess. It's like look at it this way. It's like having an extra life on a video game. Are you just going to shut the video game off or are you going to play that extra life?
That's your analogy. That's what you're choosing.
It's kind of like that.
To use in this scenario.
It's kind of.
Video games.
You got an extra life. You got an extra man. Do it.
Extra man. Go big or go home.
Yeah. Keep playing.
I'm going to fire all of you. You and the daughters.
You're firing me.
I'm going to fire you at home. You're fired.
Okay.
You're fired.
That's interesting. I'll note that. Okay. For the podcast. Great. Okay. Well, let's switch gears.
Okay.
So we got some flexibility, which is great. We found some areas of need for the firm, for our lives. And so you came over here. What has been what's been your biggest fulfillment since moving over into this role now?
The success, the growth. It's kind of like an instant gratification thing. Like, I like to cut the grass.
Unfortunately, yes.
It's because it's instant gratification. You see the lines, you see the fruits of your labor, like right then and there.
Yes, look cathartic. I get it.
So, the success here is kind of similar in that, like, the data is like right there. Like, oh, last year we did this. Or last month we did this. Kayla did this marketing thing. Now look at this. It's really cool to see, like, the gratification in it.
Well, what do you do? Tell us all of what you do.
Oh, because at first it sounded like you said it like, what do you do? But then you fixed it and made it sound like, oh, tell us all the things you do. So do you want to rephrase anything there?
No, my favorite thing to say to you is in the Office Space voice is like the Bobs when they're interviewing, what would you say you do here? Right? I just kind of have to say that from you from time to time. But what do you do?
So my title.
So explain to people what you do. I know
Jackass,
what you do.
Is the finance director.
What is your title?
Finance director here. So I do all of the checks out, all of the checks in, making sure that we are on track, that we keep bills paid, that we keep our employees paid.
Which is good. They
that
appreciate
we
that.
have strategic planning for down the road, for growth, for freaking taxes.
Oh, God. Yeah.
So I do all that now, but I also help Kayla run her marketing department.
Yes. It's just some marketing, some intake.
But I
little bit
also
of
design our
operations.
offices
Yeah,
and
right, interior
clean
decorating.
toilets and
A little bit of renovating.
all technology. Every IT problem
So
goes
IT,
through me. Every computer that's set up here
Yes.
comes through me.
Right.
I do a lot. I do a lot.
You do so
I think I'm
much,
underpaid.
sweetheart. You do so well. I'm so proud of you.
I'm underpaid.
You are.
Let's talk about.
Let's join the club. I'm going to give myself a raise at some point.
You should, but we're still in the early stages, and things go back into the business. Right
I
now.
understand that. That's why I don't gripe too much about it.
Okay. Well,
we will give each
choosing
other
today
a
to gripe,
raise
that's all.
at some point in life.
Okay.
Okay, good deal. Here's the big question. What do you hate the most?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah. That's the real stuff.
Love your staff. I love our staff. I've told you this. Managing people is not my strong suit. I'm so glad that you were at the helm of that because I think you handle that so much better. I could not manage 20 people, 20 different personalities. Like it's bad as it is. I wear my thoughts on my face, like my facial expressions on a daily basis. I catch myself like, mother of God, thank God that person's not right in front of me right now because they would be so offended at the look on my face.
Yeah, you're right. It's hard because you have to speak 20 different languages.
I don't know how you do it.
I don't know.
Do you do it, or do you just like appease and like nod and go about your day?
No, and they probably get sick of this, but I always try to instill and find out root cause. That's the hard part, because here's the worst part is they, even as much as I encourage them to tell me what's going on, tell me what's wrong, I will help you, I will fix it. That's my job. I'm a fixer. I still spend a crazy amount of time getting to really the root issue, right? And like really getting down to the underlying why of the issue, because the underlying why is really what drives all the other stuff. So it's hard. It's really hard.
The older I get, the less patience I have for that stuff, which is really unprofessional and like not great. So I'm just glad that I'm not at the helm, because truly the older I get, I'm like, I grow up.
Yeah, some of that, right, is you have to also remember, like, what's the message, right? So sometimes the message is just like, hey, listen, yeah, I realize that sucks, but, you got to do it, right? So there is that too. Because sometimes people, we're just human beings, like, overinflate stuff,
Yeah.
Oh, my God, this is the worst thing ever. I could never write another demand. Yes, you can. Of course you can. Today, you're just a little burnt out, so hang out and tell me what's going on.
I think about like Beth McCardle, who you and I both see.
Yep.
She deals with adults all day long. Mm-hmm. But to me, like, my world of like bitching and moaning is kids. Like, kids, I feel like adults should know better. Adults should know how to deal with stuff and just should know better and deal better or cope better. I'm in like the kid space where like I get that, like, as a 14-year-old or a 16-year-old, you don't know how to navigate that or those emotions. Like, let's work on that. But God, as an adult, I'm like, whew, it's hard. So I'm just super glad that you deal with that part and I don't have to. And I love our staff.
Yeah, me too. I know it. They're fantastic. I mean, they really are. I enjoy that stuff. It's hard. It's hard, I think, for me sometimes when there are professional issues. I mean, stuff that's going, logistically wrong, or I'm struggling with, this aspect of my work, and then it's also hard because as much as I try to emphasize, hey, go be a real person outside of here, leave work at work, don't take it home with you. Inevitably, there's always bleed over. Yeah. But it's why I'm so really just, I emphasize leaving work at work and be a real person at home, because if you don't, then honestly what happens is they completely bleed over and you can't do either one great.
Pritchard Injury Firm.
All right, let's switch gears.
Yeah.
What do you like most about me at home?
You keep everything organized.
I knew it. You're going to use my control freak to advantage.
You're a very organized person, and you keep the kids on task, and
I do.
You do.
I was telling somebody the other day, do you remember, we'll never forget this moment. We were it was in our old house, and I was like, you were letting me like sit down at like one night, and you were doing like the nighttime routine, and you were walking up the stairs, you were like, I can't find this, and I was like, upstairs, dresser, second drawer, it's like the third or fourth shirt down, and you came to the top of the stairs, and you were like,
it's
weird.
God. It's very strange.
Right. Like,
There's not know where everything
in that house that I don't know.
You know exactly where it is. I can't even do that with Adderall. I mean, that's crazy. I can't. No way. That's nuts.
What's your least favorite thing about me?
At the house?
Yeah.
You freaking bush hog. Stop bush hogging. I like to bush hog. Stop.
I'm gonna beat him. I'm gonna beat him to it this week too.
No, you're not.
Watch me.
It's
my piece.
It's my piece too. It's a tractor. Leave it alone. Ride your zero turn. Leave the tractor alone.
Fine. Well, now that you have at least allowed me to do the zero turn,
I want you to tell you this. I literally bought that brand new Stihl chainsaw, which is awesome. But I got the easy start, and I told the salesman in there, he was like, man, this got this new easy start, and it really is revolutionary. And I said, well, good. That's really good, because despite the fact that I'm going to tell my wife not to use something, she probably still will use this. So I want to make it as easy as possible.
I won't use it. Those things freak me out.
Thank God.
Those things freak me out.
Don't. You shouldn't. I mean, I'll use it. It's great.
I used the circular saw once, and I thought, I'm going to lose a limb.
Yeah, no, you shouldn't do that.
No, I'm not going to do that.
No.
But I do need you to arm saw something for me for the Chattanooga office.
Yeah, like a compound saw, you know.
What is that thing that's like attached to a table and then it goes like that?
Yeah, it's compound saw. Miter saw.
Miter saw.
Mm-hmm. Compound miter saw.
Yeah, I need you to do so. Saws freak me out.
Nah, saw's good.
Okay, well, I need you to
saw good.
Cut something for... That was a good one.
I know, I'm here all week.
Go on.
I know. I'll saw it. Whatever. I'll cut it up.
You do that.
Yeah.
Do you want to know what I like most and least about you?
Oh, no, I don't. But since we're here, yes, please tell me. Are you going to... Here's the thing. What you like least. Are you going to just pick one? Or is it like a combination?
Oh, it'll be a list.
No. Let's just do one.
Just
do one, because I think the podcast does have a time limit. So let's...
Do you know what's wild?
Tell me.
Is I really think one of the things I like best about you is also one of the things I like least about you. And I was just thinking about that in my head. So, thing I like most about you is that you will communicate with me. I like when you and I talk, it's good. When you and I talk. Here lately... You have not been communicating.
Yeah, that's all I hear is negative stuff about that. It's crazy.
But like, again, when we're good and talking, you talk really well. We communicate, I think, pretty well. But it's that, like, when you reach your word cap for the day, like, you out.
Right.
And then you will not communicate. And I don't love that. So when you communicate, it's good. But you don't
I told Paige
always communicate well. Or communicate at all.
I told the Paige on the way to school this morning, I said, oh, we're here. And she said, what? And I said, the point in the road where mommy calls. And
he
she
gets
said,
so aggravated.
What? I said, this is the point. This is like the stretch of road, like the 400 feet that mommy calls every morning. It's the same stretch. I'm not going to tell you because it's every morning.
It's because the second that I get in my car is when I think about other things other than getting out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because...
And bless your heart, you've told us, 5 different... Car rider. Just call me again. Just, hey, Paige. And Paige is already like, I know. Well, you said it like 4 times.
Do you know the memes in social media about the vacation princess? There are 2 vacation princesses in the office right now, by the way.
What the heck is a vacation princess?
It's the person who, yeah, Kayla's got her hand up because she's a vacation princess too.
What do you do?
So there's one person who does all the things, packs the passports, itinerary, knows when we're landing, what we're taking, how we're getting.
Yeah.
And there's the other person that's like, hey, where are we going again? You're the daddy princess. Like, there's got to be a word for this. I go to sleep thinking about like the 7 trillion thing. I wake up the minute the alarm goes off. My feet hit the floor.
Yes.
And I'm go. You wake up, throw on your workout clothes, and grab Paige out the door. I have done laundry. I have
Not in the morning. You don't do laundry in the morning.
100% I do laundry
you're
in
not
the
doing
morning.
Laundry. I've never heard the laundry going off or no, never.
There's probably a load in the wash soiling right now.
Now that I believe because I find that a lot. And it gives me such anxiety when I see wet clothes with the top not
I wash
a jar,
it again.
and I'm like, oh my God, they're getting moldy, they're getting soggy. What do I do? But I don't touch it because if I do touch it, she's gonna yell at me and she had a purpose. And I've got nasty wet clothes of my own from the gym. I can't put them in there, but she's gonna gripe because they're gonna smell. Boogie. And that's what happens. And then I just end up, and that happens in like 0.5 seconds in my brain. And then I just keep walking and I'm like, F it.
But then every morning I do the laundry.
I'm going to take a
some
note
laundry.
of that. How have I missed the non-running of the machine?
Every
is
morning.
Running. And
All right, what else?
what do you like about the kids? I love them both so very
Differently.
much and differently. It's weird. I mean, I enjoy them both differently too. Like I enjoy, Paige is our second child, of course, and is very difficult. She is so headstrong. But at the same time, she's also unbelievably perceptive. She's extremely funny, very funny. Which, by the way, they say is a really big sign of intelligence. I don't know if you knew that.
Funny?
But yeah, being like the funniest person in your group is like normally means you're like the most intelligent in your group, which is interesting. So
We were gymnastics yesterday.
she's so funny.
Jordan and I were talking, and she was so funny. Said something funny, and then like was also at the same token like really rude as she like walked off. And Jordan looked at me, she was like, "Who is that?" Meaning like, is that you or Zach? And I was like, it was probably a little bit of both.
Yeah, she's an interesting mixture.
Yeah, not ready
I'm
for
most
this.
afraid of how kids communicate nowadays. Like I'm most afraid of navigating how they communicate.
They don't communicate.
Right, socially,
Lack
and
of
all this
communication.
all this other stuff. But
We're talking about that this morning too, like the difference. So apparently, Avery and Paige are both Gen Alpha. We're talking about which generations they are. So Gen Alpha is 0 to 11 years old right now. Gen Z is 12 to like 27 or something. So we've got 2 Gen Alphas
Right.
who are, and they like listed all the things that like make them different.
Now, I feel like because of our influence, they are getting better. Because the Gen Z folks are, I think maybe I'll be dead and gone when they're in power. I hope. Because
Well, they talked about that today. Like we need leaders, and we don't have a crop of leaders coming up.
But I think because of our generation's influence, like millennials' influence, I think we have hope for the alphas. I think there's hope.
So there's
I think
something to
they
be said
won't
for
make
that.
up stupid words just because they get bored with the English language.
Like what?
Like skibbity. And like, who came up with this stuff? They're alpha. They're going by the Greek alphabet. It's because they can't speak English.
Oh my gosh, Paige
They
and
can't
April.
speak English.
Somebody came home and said, "What's mewing? Mew?
Mew.
And Zach
Mew,
was
new,
like,
xi,
"Oh my god,
Omicron."
it's another
Oh my God.
freaking Greek letter."
It's a Greek letter. Just speak English.
Cool.
Good or cool? Okay.
Sure.
Sounds good. Not lying. Truth.
Cool.
Charisma.
Oh shit.
Something you don't like. Yeah.
Didn't call back.
Yeah.
Oh God, is that
That would be a good word.
estranged?
Estranged. I don't know. Bed rot?
Is it an STD?
Yeah, good God. That's what that sounds like.
That does not sound good. I don't want it.
Bed
Whatever
rot.
it is,
Yeah,
I don't want
that
it.
sounds-
Rotting in bed. Like you're doing nothing.
Oh, okay. You're
Oh.
lazy.
You should know this.
Lazy.
Flow hole.
Got it.
Yeah. Flow hole.
Diva. Like,
Diva,
cool.
yeah.
I mean, not cool, but
Prima donna.
there we go.
You're crazy. You're out of your mind. Delusional.
Is it?
Yes.
Delulu?
Delusional. They can't. That's what I'm talking about.
Jesus.
Perfect example. We can't just say delusional and sound articulate.
Right?
Or arty. Yo, I'm arty, bruh. For articulate. We just made one up. Did you like that? No, go with it. Go with it. I promise. Everyone listen to this podcast, say, yo, I'm real arty, and like for a little while, and it'll be like articulate.
Articulate.
Yeah,
Okay.
and watch.
Where'd you
Watch,
learn
this will
that?
catch
The
on at
Law Dad
Cartersville Medical.
podcast?
If you heard it first,
Yeah.
TM.
Be arty. I'm going to go home and tell Avery Clear today. Be
Like,
arty.
if you're not, that's good. Look,
Be
if you're not
arty.
explaining something, like you don't understand, be like, be arty.
Ooh.
TM. Trademark right there. Law Dad Podcast.
He was so stinking hot. He was so cute.
Oh, yeah.
It was a senior.
I don't know what happened.
He was a sophomore. It was totally like against all things imaginable to like someone younger than you as a relatively cool senior.
But
girl.
it wasn't because I had already dated a senior. Go ahead. Keep going.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Just
Oh.
sorry. Go ahead. Okay.
We can go there.
That's fine. Keep going.
We can go.
Please.
If you want to go to the past, we can do that.
By all means, go ahead. Go ahead.
Anyway, I had seen him a couple times. He was real cute. And I told we were getting ready for the state championships for cheer or regional championships or
those,
something.
yeah.
We were staying over at Jonna Tidwell's, who was our coach's house. And I was telling all the younger girls, like, oh my God, do you know who y'all should date? Is that Zach Pritchard kid? Like, he is so cute. Well, like, Jamie Dance and Megan Stalger were like, oh my God, do you think he's cute? I'm like, yeah.
Two good friends of mine. Yep.
And so they, like, I'm turning around doing all, well, they, like, have run and, like, called him and told him this, like, right then and there.
Yeah.
And did y'all come over to Jonna's that night?
So we, me and Kenny and Barstow and Margot had missed this movie called The Mothman Prophecies, which is
I should have known right
it's-
there.
What a weird movie. Anyway, we missed like the first one, and anyway, we were like, we'll just hang out and then we'll go see the later showing, and we did. And so anyway.
But you got the call on your like
was-
Snake Nokia FSU cover cell phone.
And remember, it had the Coke bottle at the top for the antenna that would light up.
Oh my God,
Remember
yes.
That was awesome. I mean, poor guys.
Did you even ever have a Nokia with the Snake phone?
Dude, she probably wasn't. Were you even like around?
I have a BlackBerry.
Okay.
Okay,
Blackberry's
okay.
pretty legit.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
all right. Yeah, so I had called. No. We came back by. For some reason,
I think y'all came by there.
They were in the Waterford. Megan and Jamie were in the Waterford, and they were messing around. They saw us in my parents' driveway and stopped for a second. So whatever, all this other stuff. And Jamie was like, hey, listen, let me go drive your car over there. We're going to be messing around. Blah, blah, blah. So then we drove up. I was like, okay, y'all have fun. Good luck tomorrow. And then they called later, and they asked
Yeah.
if I would go out with you.
And then we started talking on the phone because you were grounded at the time. So we would
I'm glad
talk
you remembered that.
on the
That's
phone.
awesome.
We spent a
This is
lot of
great.
time talking on the phone
High-powered lawyer. He's grounded. Okay, anyway, go ahead.
because he was
Yeah, keep
grounded.
going.
I was really cool.
awesome.
Hanging out with the child who was grounded. Grounded sophomore. Winning. Hashtag winning. And we talked.
Keep going.
And that was it. That was all she wrote. And then we had our first day on Valentine's Day at the swing set at the primary school, which isn't there anymore because it's not the primary school. That was 22 years ago. Yeah.
It was a long time ago. Yeah.
And then it's just been peaches and rainbows ever since.
Let me tell you, buddy. God, that's wild. Yeah, and I kept thinking, I was like, oh my God, Alexis is like obsessed with this swing set thing. And what a child. I mean, she says I'm a child, but oh my God, she wants to go have this special date on the swing set. And
We all used to go there.
I know, you the cheerleaders.
Not a cheer. I'm like, well,
That's
I
what you
guess it was
said. You
cheerleaders.
said y'all would sneak out of Jonna's house and go.
No.
Oh.
Like a lot of
Maybe I
people, like it was just a good place. It was like cathartic. Like if you ever needed to go and like clear your mind, you scaled the fence at the primary school. Actually, there wasn't a fence at the round the
No,
which
you
is
just go in
ironic.
there.
Because like liability, you would think they
There was no fence.
They then built a fence,
Yeah,
but
there was no
back then 20 years ago, we just went and would sit and like talk and
Yeah, I can't lie. Actually, a good swing set's pretty cool.
yeah,
It was fun.
yeah.
I
It was
probably
good
would
to
go
like
to a swing set
industrial
today.
strength, you know.
Yeah, they were the big ones.
Big
the
old
big ones, the
swings.
old like steel that ran across.
Yeah, it was fun.
Ones you could jump out of.
But that's how we met.
How'd I know I wanted to marry Alexis?
Because I told him he wanted
Dude,
to.
exactly. Are you kidding me? She told me so. That was easy. She's so, like I said, she's a planner, and I appreciate that. And it was very simple. Hey, you're going to marry me. Oh, well, okay, great. Good. I'm not doing anything for the rest of my life. It's cool. We're in. This is perfect.
It's been 10 years. You're done. We're done.
Yeah,
It's
time. It's time. Here's what's going to happen. Oh, okay. Great.
We got in one of our all-time biggest fights that probably kind of stemmed just around like, what in the hell are you doing? Let's go. Let's do this.
Right.
Zach had already bought a ring.
So you're not crazy. Okay? I promise.
But unbeknownst to me, Zach had already bought a ring.
Right.
And he has said, and I could feel it too. He was like, I almost told you that day. Like, I almost told you. We almost broke up. I mean, God,
we
it
did.
was
We almost broke up.
one of
I had
the
a
worst
ring.
fights we've ever had.
I had a ring. I was waiting, truly for the right time. I knew what was going to go on. And I had to actually, this isn't a joke, mentally convince myself of all of the opposition to her to survive. Because I was so protective of, I did not want to let her know that I had the ring or to just haphazardly do it. The older, more seasoned, wiser Zach would have said, give her the damn ring. Just give her the damn ring, dude. Don't do this. It's not worth it. It'll be special for a day. And then the year of your life, you have, yeah. So
You had it for a year?
Huh? It was like 9 months.
Oh my God.
I told you the fiasco. Remember?
I do remember the
We had the
fiasco.
fiasco, and we told the guy, we said, listen, if this doesn't praise out, you can forget it.
Yeah.
So we got the second ring.
They bought a ring. He
Yeah.
was with his mom, bought a ring, and they think when they like sent it to him, like finalized, that they had potentially switched the ring, the diamonds.
Almost
It was
positive.
not.
The one they showed was beautiful, and there was no yellow or anything like that, and it was great. And we came back, and it was kind of the hue was different. They said it right while they were like, "Yeah, I know y'all are going to be doing some shopping, no problem. Well, it's when you come back, it'll be set." Okay, cool. And then of course we slipped and fell into
9 months of my life,
Also, Lord.
and I was older.
Right. You were old, right? What were
I
you?
was old.
26? 27?
No.
You were 27. Yeah,
So
go
I was
ahead.
28 when we got married. So
Go
it was
ahead.
27. It's 20.
I mean, my God. If you're
Tell
not,
me you feel like a
if you're
spring
not
chicken.
27, I mean, holy God.
Tell
you're
me
not
you feel
married
like a
by
spring
then.
chicken. 27
right.
was the worst year. It was awful.
It's also hard.
There's so much limbo. Like so much stuff is just up in
harder
the
part
air.
too was, I also am slightly younger than you are, right? So that's a little bit harder too.
It is, it
'Cause
is.
I think if having, I do think that if I was say 30 or something like that, and I was into my career or something like that, that stability may have given you a little more solace.
Yeah.
But I'm coming out of law school. Just
Shit
mountain
ton of
of
debt.
debt. I have
Yeah.
zero to my name.
Yeah.
It's just broke as a joke, and you don't know where you're going to land. I didn't have a job.
Yeah.
I didn't have a legal job. I had
Yeah.
a job in law school. Yes, I worked for an attorney, but I didn't have an attorney role. Right?
What'd you do after law school?
Huh?
What job did you have after law school?
My favorite job. I was a window salesman.
Window salesman.
For how long?
How
God,
well
2
did you
months
do
of hell.
in window sales?
Huh?
How well did you do in window sales?
I was
And let me preface this by saying, would this add any anxiety to you as a person on the receiving side of this relationship? How well did you do selling windows?
they say that everybody says that lawyers are like great liars. We're all liars, right? That could not be, at least farthest from the truth
For
when it
you.
comes to me, because I was way too honest to be a salesman. And when people would say, "Hey, Zach, can I buy this Pella window over at Home Depot for like way cheaper and just get it installed for like $200 from?" And I would be like, "Yeah, you don't need to buy this $1,500 window."
We had to rely on my parents
Her
for
parents
paying
floated
gas
it.
bill because he was
Gas.
driving all
QT.
over Creation. We had
That's
a
right.
QT gas card.
That's right.
And he took the Honda Accord that was mine because it had better gas mileage.
Yep.
Was driving all over, and I will never ever forget.
Yep.
He had spent and you spend several hours in these people's homes because there's a spiel. There's
And they
like
tell you to do that. That's what's crazy.
tell you
I
to
mean,
do
like,
this.
you just don't know any better. You're
Zach
just like,
comes home from, and there are two stories, and I think they're both like in Bentwater. The stories are. So one, he comes home, he's been gone like all night. I'm like, okay. He walks the door. I'm like, how'd it go? Did you do good? He's like, I told him to buy the windows from Home Depot. And I was like,
well, they asked.
oh my God, like 3 hours. And these people, like dinner was made. I think they offered him dinner.
They did. Toads.
And then like later that week, he's like, I spent several hours with this young married couple.
They
And I'm
were
like, great.
hilarious. They were awesome. I remember. I know exactly what you're talking about. I didn't sell any windows, but.
But they talked about her bedazzled vajayjay.
Well, it wasn't hers.
It wasn't hers.
It wasn't hers. It was this old lady that they saw at a Mexican restaurant who evidently they call it vajazzling. And
These are the nuggets that he's coming home with.
Well, I didn't come home
Not
with any
money,
window
no
sales.
commission.
Yeah, I'm about to say I didn't sell
But
anything.
he's got really great stories
They were
about
super
vajazzling.
cool, and they were telling me all this stuff. How this crazy older lady was talking about. That's what she made a profession.
And so
out
you
of.
tell me that I'm not crazy for being like, when are we getting married? Because there's got to be something in this for me.
I think if I come home, I think you are crazy because there's no way you should have.
I
married
really
me.
should-
You
I
lost
should have
your
turned
mind.
and run.
Yeah, holy crap!
Run.
You should be like, what the hell is going on?
Bottom line is, moral of that story is you were just not a salesman.
No, and that's why I love what I do now because I'll tell you, and it was the hardest part of me, being in even in family law. To be honest with you, I had a really hard time internalizing arguments that I knew based on my training were not truly in the best,
Yeah.
and I didn't like that. I didn't like having to make the argument, and I also like you in court. That's why I love personal injury because. At personal injury, I get to help people. I get to go into court and to gunsling, and I know they're up against a company who couldn't give a shit less about them. They don't give a damn about them. They care about their bottom line. They want to invest their premiums. They want to make their profits go up. I got one right now, and I don't mind calling this insurance company out, Allstate. $51 billion with a B is what you made last year, and you're telling me in this certain case that you can't meet my demand, and it's a hefty demand. Okay. But literally thousands of times over, they could have met this demand. And it's a massive demand, right?
But what is somebody
it-
permanently injured?
Someone died. Yeah, someone died.
Yeah.
And we just don't value it. I love that. Don't value it the same way. Is that right? Is that right? Because I can't say this to a jury, which is I get, but I can't say, drag that CEO and let that happen to his wife. Let that happen to his mom. Let that happen to his, son or daughter or whoever else. How much is that worth? There's not
the value
enough bees
changes.
in that billion to pay to
Yeah.
get them back.
Yeah.
Right. And so anyway, that's why I get so passionate about what I do now. It's easy. It's easy, and I praise God, no doubt, that I found personal injury because it is.
Yes,
it
I
is-
praise God you're not selling windows still.
Me
too.
either. That was
Well,
bad.
Zach, it's been so fun. Thanks for having me on today.
Wait, I thought I had you on.
I
am I
said
supposed
thanks
to-
for having me on. I
Oh,
said.
sorry. I thought. Anyway, go ahead.
Jesus.
My bad. My bad. Alexis, thanks for coming on the show today. I'm sorry. Yeah, People, I think, get the idea now. Alexis is wrapping up the show. That's supposed to be the Law Dad podcast. The Law Dad gets his podcast because Mom said he could show.
Mom created the podcast. This is all Alexis and Kayla created.
And you scheduled it. Yep, thank you. And you scheduled, and you have booked the guests.
I have.
I know. You at one time they were even trying to give me some, content. I mean, this is pretty much just the Alexis show.
This is the thanks I get. This is what blows my mind. Zero credit. I don't get any kind of shout outs at downstairs in the firm meetings because you can't, because you show favoritism. And then I get home and sometimes I get shit there too. I get zero.
Want, for the record, for you to know.
And Kayla's honestly right behind me and not getting zero because she's in a different world. We don't get the same thanks.
Oh my gosh. Here it comes.
Just saying.
This is, so, you bring up managing people. It's interesting, right? The other thing, anyway, I ain't even going to go there. But
what do I get?
What do you get?
Yeah.
What do you want? You get literally whatever you want. It's always.
You're lucky that I don't want for a whole lot.
Me either. We're lucky.
Yeah, we are lucky.
Good in that we're not very crazy materialistic
Wanty
folks.
people.
But if you, how many times?
Shirt from Costco the other day.
I know. Listen, I
wore it yesterday.
Dude, ain't nothing wrong with that Costco brand. It's good. I'm pretty sure all my athletic socks and underwear come from Costco. And they're good. That Spider brand, Puma. I'm against, I will tell you, I'm going to share something with you. You ever worn black athletic socks?
Yes.
Yeah. Changes your life. I've decided I'm throwing all my white athletic socks away because I just don't like them.
See, sometimes I feel like an outfit, an ensemble needs a white sock. Never?
No, thank you. I saw every tennis shoe that I've ever worn in the past 6 months with all of them, including my new Nikes. Thank you, Blake Arthur.
But if you wear tube socks, the kids are wearing tall socks these days. You can't wear black tall socks.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
No.
Yes, you can. I'm going to purge my sock drawer of all the socks.
You need to purge your sock drawer anyway because they're overflowing. I don't know why a man needs so many socks in his life.
Because
and then
you
also
have a good sock game like this, America. Right?
Sure. You have more socks and underwear than anybody I know.
I love it.
And you don't throw the old ones away. You need to throw the old ones away. You need to purge.
That's true. Alexis, thanks for making some time. I know how unbelievably, irreplaceably awesome you are for Pritchard Injury Firm. And for your boss to let you come on this podcast is unbelievable.
I'm a lucky woman. I'm a lucky woman. But thanks for,
He sounds like a great guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, bless his heart. Bless his heart. I love you very much. And you do way more than I think any normal human being could ever do. And certainly more than I can do. And you're very appreciated and loved, both here, certainly at home. And I will tell you, it is 100% true, those little memes about you want to see how good a mom is, let her go off on a trip, and then you got the kids. Mm-hmm. I can do it. No, we can do it. But I think God knew what he was doing because there's just a bone that y'all have that you're just built with that is just strong.
Well, thank you. That's sweet. I'm so glad I had that on recording.
You got that. Everybody's going to know.
Stay connected with the Law Dad, Zach Pritchard, across all your favorite platforms. Dive deeper into the stories, insights, and behind-the-scenes moments that make The Law Dad your go-to podcast. Follow us on Facebook for updates and community shout-outs. Catch inspiring snippets on Instagram. Connect with Zach on LinkedIn for professional insights. And don't miss our exclusive content on YouTube. Find our social media links in the description of today's show. Follow us now on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube.
This show is for informational purposes only. It does not constitute tax, investment, or legal advice. Please consult with a qualified professional before taking any action.